Okay guys, this is me here again. This video is going to be over Jurassic World. Now, before I go any further, I should say that if you haven't seen the movie, and you don't like spoilers, don't watch this. Just don't, okay? And if you haven't seen the movie, or you don't mind spoilers, or if you have seen the movie, go ahead and watch this. But don't watch this if you hate spoilers, okay? And I don't want to hear anyone complaining about it later. But what am I saying? Someone's going to. But, okay. Anyways, like I said, this is over Jurassic World. I went and saw it yesterday with a friend. Now, I got in for free. So, I'm just going to say I actually enjoyed this movie. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was better than 2 and 3. But, like I said, because I got in free, that might have had something to do with it because I didn't have to spend any money on it. So, this movie takes place, I think, around 21 years after the events of the first Jurassic Park. Now, it takes place on the same exact island, and it's built pretty much on the same exact location. There's the old park is on this island. And the old one was a park, this one is a resort that they built. That's why they call it Jurassic World. So there's places for them to stay for a couple of nights if they want to. There's places to eat, and of course, they can go and see the dinosaurs. Now, it's funny because this movie plays on the fact that humans never learn, pretty much, as, the other two also did. But this one, every few or so years, they realize that they have to create a new dinosaur because people have gotten used to, seeing a Triceratops. It's like a kid going to a zoo, as they said in this movie, and seeing an elephant and going, oh, that's an elephant. That's cool. But they start being less impressed with it more and more and more. So they realize they have to create new dinosaurs. And this, they create the Indominus Rex, which is a mix between a couple of different things. It's a T-Rex and a Velociraptor, and I think they said a pufferfish. But this movie kind of shows that what they created was something that is extremely smart, whereas the other ones, Velociraptors and all of them are smart, but for the most part they're animals kind of in the end. But this one, it knows how to hunt, and as Chris Pratt's character says in the movie, it hunts for sport. Which you can see, there's a scene in it where they have these gyrospheres, which are like little, I guess they're new vehicles that they go around and explore with the dinosaurs. But she doesn't eat them, as Chris Pratt's character points out. It, like he said, it hunts for sport. And Chris Pratt's character is kind of the one, I guess you could call him Velociraptor Whisperer. He's kind of raised and been with these 4 Velociraptors since they were young. And they've kind of recognized him kind of as, I don't know, a leader or a parent figure or something, as I guess you could say. I mean, they still kind of have that hesitant of, should we attack him or no, what should we do? But eventually they kind of learn, oh hey, he's kind of, our leader. But later in the end, that kind of goes against them all, and it turns out that since the Indominus Rex is part Velociraptor, it can communicate with these little Velociraptors, so it kind of turns them against them, which I thought was kind of a neat little twist for a little bit. But, earlier in the movie, they bring in Chris Pratt's character because they need him to see, if this place is good enough to hold the Indominus Rex. And at first they think it's actually gone, but it's actually hiding in the little pen area, because I guess it kind of, since it can camouflage or something, it can kind of help itself from staying hidden from the equipment, and they can't find it. So she has to go back to the main park, and they go in the cage, but it turns out it's actually, like I said, it can hide stuff in there, so it's actually still in there. And Chris Pratt's character, of course, escapes, and he realizes that it wanted them to think it escaped, so they would go in there and she could kill him. And that just goes to prove how much smarter the Indominus Rex is, and how well it is at hunting. Now, somewhere later in the movie, actually no, it's when Chris Pratt's character is introduced, there's this other guy that's also introduced, and I guess he works for Engine, and he wants to weaponize these Velociraptors and dinosaurs in general so they can stop using humans and just use these, which, probably when you see this character, you're going to want him to die, and that's how I was. I was like, I hope you die. I got my wish, and it was well worth seeing. But I will say, going into this movie, that as some people pointed out, it's like, oh, these characters aren't going to die, and it's like, no, that's definitely not how that's definitely how it's going to be. You're going to know, it's like, oh, well, this character's going to live, this character's going to live. But what you might not know going into this movie is like, oh, is this character going to die? I want him to die. Is he going to die? That's how it generally is, because they set up these characters for you to hate, pretty much, and that's how it happens, and you'll get your wish on one of them, maybe a couple of them, I don't know. There's this other character, he kind of runs the park. John Hammond left it to him to run, and he's a funny character. A lot of the characters in this are funny. These movies are more comical. This movie's more comical than what the others are. Definitely more than the first one. Not as good, but I will say I still enjoyed it for what it is. But he's the owner of the place. He's just kind of fun, and it's sad what happens to him in it. But he kind of goes out like a boss, as you'll see in it when he's in the helicopter. But later in the movie, Engine kind of takes over because they see this as their chance to do that, and they don't take over for long. Let me tell you, they eventually escape. There's a character in this that reprises well from the first one, you probably know, is Dr. Wu. I can't remember his name. He's the doctor from the first one, the one who creates the dinosaurs pretty much, and he says something very interesting, which I actually like, is that the reason the humans won't get rid of the Indominus Rex is because they've been on top for so long, they're not used to being taken from the top spot and lowered when the Indominus Rex takes over as the top predator at the place. And that's kind of true. I think that's really what would happen, is that characters or people would realize that if something took our spot, we might not like it, and we might try to take it back, or we might try to kill him, which is what they try to do in this. But when they play, like in the first one, you don't really get a good feel of who he is, but in this one you do, and he's just like, he doesn't admit it, but he kind of plays God in a way, but he just doesn't like to say it, but that's what he does. And so later in the movie, it comes to the very end of the movie, I actually truly enjoyed the ending of the movie because it's just a giant monster fight between a T-Rex and the Indominus Rex. And the T-Rex, it's not hinted at, but you kind of get the feeling that that is the T-Rex from the first one, or as most people call it, Rexy. But because there's like these scars on it, and she just looks old. And it might just be because of the scars, but the scars might be from the Velociraptors that she fought in the first one. And it's just kind of neat to see that if this actually is her from the first one, that she's actually back, still alive. But I will say the true hero of this movie is the Velociraptor, because when the T-Rex and the Indominus Rex start fighting, she ends up losing the fight, but she doesn't get killed. The Indominus Rex gets the upper hand, and I think she only gets the upper hand because the Indominus Rex has longer arms that she can actually use to fight with, and which just might explain why she was able to beat her sibling, because I'll go back to this, is that she had a sibling in the first one, but she ate it. So that shows how much of an alpha predator she is. And I think those long arms that helped her kill her brother, or helped her claw at the wall to trick them, helped her in this fight against the T-Rex. If it didn't have long arms, I think the T-Rex might have had a better chance of winning. Because it's said that the Indominus Rex is only bigger, but she didn't look bigger. She looked about the same size. But like I said, the Indominus Rex gets the upper hand on the T-Rex, and one of the Velociraptors, the last one left alive, which I think is Blue, comes in and helps her win the fight. And it's just so neat to see this Velociraptor helping the T-Rex, and the T-Rex knows it. I mean, during the fight, you see the Velociraptor on top of the T-Rex, getting ready to jump at the Indominus Rex while they're fighting. It's just really neat to see. And a little bit later, during the fight, the T-Rex ends up knocking the Indominus Rex over towards this giant water. There's this like giant bed of water here because they have this giant aquatic animal there that they have for show, which was kind of neat. I enjoyed seeing it, even it being fake. It was kind of just neat to see. But later, the Indominus Rex is standing next to the edge because it breaks the fence around it, and the T-Rex and Velociraptor is waiting right there, waiting to see who moves first. And really, the one who moved first was the aquatic monster. Jumps out and grabs the Indominus Rex and pulls it in, and the T-Rex and the Velociraptor's kind of right there waiting. So, and it was a really neat fight. I think in the end this was just a good monster movie, and so it was just neat seeing a T-Rex and a Velociraptor kind of help each other out in the fight. They don't fight each other, and they end up going their separate ways. And it was neat to see. It was a good fight. It was fun to watch. Honestly, I truly enjoyed it. Now, you might ask, is this movie going worth seeing? As I said earlier, I got in for free, so that was probably why I enjoyed it a little bit more. But even then, I think if I paid for it, I still would have found it a fun movie. If you like monster movies, if you like the Godzilla movie, I would say go watch this. This was a good monster movie. And unlike Godzilla, which I enjoyed too, which was just good seeing it from the monster's perspective, this movie, Jurassic World, actually had good actors in it. They didn't feel stale and one-dimensional. They actually, it felt real, like the actors tried to do tried to bring this character to life, it was good. I think it had a decent amount of time for humans and monsters. or monsters, dinosaurs, I should say. It split the time very well, and I would buy this on DVD when it comes out. You know, I don't know how much tickets are where you're at. I know tickets are different prices everywhere else. I hear some people say they're like $20 for one person. Where here it's like, depending on the time, it's 5 or 7. So it's not that much for me. Honestly, I don't think I would spend $20 on it. I don't think I'd spend $20 on any movie. At most, I probably would have spent like 12 or 13 to go see this movie. But in the end, if you enjoy monster movies, if you enjoyed the last Godzilla movie, you'll definitely enjoy this movie. And I do think it's worth time to go and see. But, you know, that's just my opinion. But it was a good movie. And that's really all I had for this. This was just out of the blue. I decided to make this little video, about 11 minutes. So I will leave it at that. And I will see you guys in my next video.